Welcome to the rest of the review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lockbox Hastings and no
Dylan,
Bitcoin.
God, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan's an
I want
unto.
extra paperwork of my money.
Let me ask you this about cryptocurrency. Do you think there's a guy he's riding that pony? You know, like after that big crypto crash, he's like, it'll be back.
How is crypto doing? Do you know?
Based off of the instant messages I'm getting from a certain segment of stand-up comedy, not good. I got to tell you, when my friends that I used to do comedy with back in old England, Dylan knows some of them, switch from talking about stocks to talking about conspiracy theories, that means crypto's going bad. That means they're like, oh, I can't check these news sites. I got to check these other news sites.
Here's my favorite thing. Like like all scummy companies, my favorite is the UFC, who tried to pay people in crypto, and then it crashed, which is fucking sick. I'm looking at
I
Gitcoin is down 11%. Radium is down 10%.
Radium,
Radium.
but they told me that was a must buy.
Yeah. Oh, Barcelona fan token is up 9.2%. So if you want
What?
Barcelona fan token, Bitcoin's number one. Bitcoin, of course, is down 3%.
Can I just
No, it's
say
back up a bit by its 7D chart. 7D. Not 3D, 7.
I can I just say that history is
Sure.
not going to be kind to this period of time. Like people are going to look back, much like we looked back on certain '80s haircuts, and are like, "You didn't see that this was a bad idea in the moment," and we're going to have to be like, "We did not." Do
Oh, I should say this. So, as of this was yesterday at noon, Bitcoin was $21,000 per Bitcoin, $21,247 per Bitcoin, and as of this recording, it is at 20,700 and that's fucking crazy. This is 24 hours. Let's look at 6 months. What happened with
Oh,
Bitcoin?
don't do that.
It's fucking
Don't do
crazy. I
that. Oh,
love this. I love watching people fail.
there is a part
It
of this
feels good
podcast.
when
If I
they.
wanted to be totally
It
honest
was at
about,
seventy thousand
yes, it was.
dollars.
I knew it was at a very high amount of money. Dylan, look at me. We know people that really had their lives changed when that dropped.
I'm
Like,
sorry about that, guys. But it
I
just
mean,
feels good that someone did
I gotta,
something for
I gotta.
themselves and it worked out, but then it stopped. It's like when someone loses weight, then they gets fat again. It makes me feel so good.
I'm gonna say this. It certainly does. I'm
Oh,
gonna say this
fuck.
though. All of the people I know that were so into crypto were so fucking annoying about it that I have no sympathy for this crash. Like none of them were fun. None of them were interesting. None of them were encouraging. One of them said to me specifically, "You'll never understand this," and I read two sentences of the Wikipedia on Bitcoin and went, "It's a scam. That's what it is. It's a scam." And
No, it's for drug dealers.
I mean, that's the same thing though. Also, good for them. Good for drug dealers finally. What if there was a drug dealer coin? If there was
There was Bitcoin.
no cocaine coin. I want to specifically pick the currency of the drug dealer. I would so invest in that.
It's like
I
it's
would
like
bet
anything. Like it starts out
heavy fentanyl coin.
yeah, it starts out for you know what? Like it's like hotels. Like hotels were just a place to have sex with prostitutes, and then now they cost $200 for some reason because they get some towels in there.
That's so funny.
Bitcoin and hotels are the same thing. It's for drug dealers, and the other thing's for prostitutes. Never forget that.
I mean, that's such a funny idea that hotels were literally a place where you tied your horse on a stump and then walked upstairs to a
You go
room.
cheat on your wife.
Of course. Everything was just for cheating on your wife. Like the internet
Mm-hmm.
is and was just for cheating on your wife. And we were like,
Mm-hmm.
it would be nice to hear some like a radio show while I was on here cheating on my wife. And that's how we got podcast.
While this not even video, image is loading, so I can masturbate, which is mentally cheating on my wife. It is.
That is
Anyway.
true. Dylan is very committed to his marriage, which is why all of the porn he has, he edits in his wife's face on all
Mm-hmm.
people in the
Yeah, I
porn.
deep fake it.
Yeah, he deep fakes it, but all of the people. You know what I
All
mean?
yeah, the cameraman too.
The cameraman, if it's a crowd shot,
Who's
because
there for
Dylan,
some reason.
exactly, Dylan likes deep gonzo reality porn from the mid
Mm-hmm.
'90s. You know what I mean?
So here we go. There's no easy way to segue into here. We're talking about Antonio Inoki. John, what do you know about Antonio Inoki before
I
we
got to
start
tell
this
you,
series?
um, did not know what his birth name was.
Yeah, crazy. What's his birth name, John?
According to Christopher Hobson, which I'm going to say this right now, I don't know if this is true, but in our research that we were provided, that I did no additional
Mm-hmm.
research to, his name is Muhammad Hussein Inoki.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. He literally has the name that suits his ego. His he What is your name? Gift of God Inoki. Isn't that correct? Muhammad is gift of God?
You're putting a lot of faith in me that I know what Muhammad means, my friend.
I'm gonna say this. I think know what it is. Know what it is? It's really, really being kind. You know who I know who's my of all my friends who's a scholar on Islam? It's that bald man with a child.
If I
And
knew a
bald,
lot about Islam, they'd think it was because I was planning something against it.
of course, yeah. You look like the kind of guy that goes, "Let me tell you something." You look like the kind of guy that if you did stand up, which you do, you still have a hot five on the 72 virgins. Can I just say, the 9/11 hijackers did such a disservice to the Islamic faith by in any way doing something close to that, because I was doing stand-up comedy yesterday and someone had a bit
Hmm.
about these guys think that they're gonna who would want that. It's like I don't like they killed a few thousand people. They're into fucked up shit. I don't fucking know what to tell you, bro.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Maybe they just. You're defending them? I think it's a good idea. I'd love 72 virgins.
Yeah, who wouldn't want 72 new friends? You don't have to fuck them all. You can just hang
That's
out.
actually true. You don't have to fuck them. Good point, John.
Thank you, Dylan. I agree. Yeah, so Antonio Inoki, he was born to an affluent family,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. He's a
Antonio,
businessman and a politician. Dad died when I was 5.
oh my God, well, of course, yeah, unstoppable. I guarantee his mother was cold and authoritarian. This
Ooh,
man is
fuck.
unstoppable. When you literally, there's literally a video of people lining up to get fucking knife edge chopped by you on your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you are
That's the
crazy.
craziest thing.
Napoleon had an Inoki complex. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is incredible, this guy.
Well, obviously, in the post-war years, Japan has a bit of a rough time. Why do you think that was, John?
No idea. I assume it was because they loved America too much and all of their cities were okay. Oh wait. No, post-war Japan was a little rough. Because Japan, as they say, decided to uh, fuck with America and they found out.
Yeah, that's right. Don't
That's
mess
right.
with America or we'll bomb you to dust.
Yeah, you better not fucking attack America when Harry Truman is in charge, because it's a 5'1" man from Missouri. He's a piece of shit and follows orders.
So his family fell on hard times. They moved to Brazil.
This is
Uh,
so crazy. Can I just say this right now? What a
mhm.
chaotic. This is this is sentence is chaos. Things were going rough for the family, so we moved to Sao Paulo. Right there, you're going, whoa, what the fuck? That's so many. That's so far to run from your problems.
Yeah, I want to know why. Like, why would you? Why would Brazil be? It's like, well, we gotta go to
Here's what I
Brazil.
here's what I read into it. His dad did
Hmm.
something really fucked up and they were running from it. Like, that's what I feel like. And Antonio Inoki is
Yeah.
too powerful and too like has this too much of an image of himself of being great that he could not let that be the reality. So he just like hid from it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's born in 43. Obviously, he's born during the war. They lose the war, and
His
then
family specifically lost the war. Literally,
well, by cowardice.
yeah. Antonio Inoki's father was on the phone with the White House and he went, "I bet you wouldn't fucking do it," and then hung up the phone with their
Big
pussy.
boy, that's a dumb name for whatever you did. Click. Bitch
little
boy, more like it. Click.
little boy, did you name it after all of your penises?
Yeah, there you go. Ours are actually bigger than yours. Click. Done. So he wins a bunch of stuff in Brazil. Ricky Zozan then brings back Inoki to Japan to be his student. So Ricky Dozan, just hanging out in Brazil.
Drunk, Ricky Doe's and drunk, open dress
Oh
shirt.
yeah, 1960. Ricky Dozan just visiting Brazil finds another Japanese person and is like, "Holy fuck,
Yeah,
taking you back, buddy."
this is how racist Ricky Dozan is that he found another Japanese person on a foreign continent and immediately took them back to Japan. You must get out of this scary place. I'm with my family. Those people are monsters.
Meltzer says that Ricky had specifically scouted Inoki after he got word back that a Japanese boy held Brazilian high school records in shot put in discus. Well, that's fun. And then he
How
decides later, of course, that he hates him.
how the fuck did he get that information? There was no internet. There was no. Was Ricky Dozen just walking down the street and someone was like, "Hey, you seem like you also like sociopaths," and he's like, "I do," and they're like, "Come this way to this high school. There's this guy who's beating up the principal."
Well, it's also like a thing that would be weird to be like, hey, I'm really up on Brazilian high school sports. Why? Oh, no reason. Have you familiar with pedophilia? Anyway, it's a term that will
Yeah.
be coined later on, but now it's just called yum yum time.
Yeah, hello, my name is Ricky Dozan. I'm a famous wrestler from Japan, and I would like all the statistics on all your high school athletes.
Oh, I'm not just watching the cheerleaders. I'm here to scout. Anyway, yeah, but for sure I'm just here to like try and get in the locker room if you know what I mean. Stare at underage girls is what that. Anyway, did you know this?
I did not.
Oh, I think we talked about this in the Ricky Dozan episode, but whatever. This is from Inoki. Inoki says, I participated in national track and field in Sao Paulo. There was a journalist who reported that I became a record holder in the discus throw at that meet. He told Ricky Dozan that he knew a promising big athlete. It attracted his interest, and he asked the head of the vegetable market to bring me to the hotel where he was staying. When we entered his room, I didn't know what to say to that imposing figure with a remarkable aura. And here's the first thing Ricky Dozan says to Antonio Inoki. Strip yourself to the waist, he said to me with a smile. After staring at me for a while,
Go
he
on.
said, show me your back. I turned around nervously. Then he patted me on the shoulder and said, let's go back to Japan together. Oh, yeah, that's not
Is
good.
it?
There's no part of that.
It is not good. It is not good.
He sucked him off.
Yeah.
That's not. Anyway, can I see your dick? Now can I see your ass? I'm abducting you from your family. That's good. He's also underage too. Hey, I like the way your kid's dick looks. Can I take him across the ocean? Yes.
Yeah, this is so insane. Hey, your son has
Oh no!
really
And then he said to his employer, "Let me take care of this young boy." Continue, John.
this young man's thighs are very muscular. Do not ask me how I know that. He will need a passport to return to Japan.
He'll need a passport, and can I change his name because this guy's gonna forget a lot of it once I get him addicted to heroin. Let's go. This is like if Taken happened, but Liam Neeson was like, "Sounds good," and just
Yeah,
hung up.
yeah, exactly. This is taken if Liam Neeson was in on it. We have
I don't know who you are, but thanks.
yeah.
Click. Movie done.
Yeah. I have a very specific set of skills, and because of those skills, I'm really into what you're doing. Thank you. Goodbye.
But I don't wanna. Bye bye. Click. In 1960, his name is Kenji Inoki, and Giant Baba announced as recruits on the same day, which is like,
It is
would you
the
say
best
that is like
part of this whole
Batista,
saga.
Cena,
No,
Lesnar?
it's literally Hulk Hogan meet Hulk Hogan. Like this is what it is. There's no equivalency in North America for what Ricky Dozan did. Ricky Dozan is the most on paper alcoholic I've ever seen in wrestling in that he lives for chaos. Like everything Ricky Dozan does is like, if I have to explain this, I'm going to be in trouble. And then he picks his two proteges. He's like, all right, get me two driven psychopaths that only will win, and there can only be one winner. I will choose two. And then it's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, I want to see them fight. I want to see the empire burn. Is that bourbon? Like, there is no way this is a good idea. Giant Baba is clearly the better. I'm going to say this. In the times that they were alive, Baba was the better businessman than Inoki, but Inoki is the visionary. If you look at the way that like New Japan is positioned, and I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but even in this moment, you have to understand Ricky Dozan finished an eighth of bourbon and then literally announced a race for who gets to be a billionaire from wrestling between a tall, thin baseball player and a muscular boy from Brazil. Like wrestling
with a chin. Ooh.
with that chin, with a chin you could hide from a hurricane under. It's like the tick indeed, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one brings up the tick anymore. One of the most surreally weird Saturday morning cartoons. Like the
Yeah.
90s were so strange where they're like, we need to make sure we're going to do some postmodern satire for children.
The children won't fucking understand.
Yeah. Let's make sure that there's a lot of Citizen Kane references in this cartoon about a family where the dad chokes the boy.
So, Inoki is, and we talked about this in Ricky Dozan episode. Giant Baba was a famous baseball player beforehand, so he comes as a main eventer over to Japan, and Inoki is really just losing in the first and second matches on the card, which is interesting because you feel like Giant Baba definitely put this in his for later pile and used this as the strategy to get Kobashi over later on.
Oh, yeah. Um, But here is my question. Do we know anything about the relationship between Giant Baba and Inoki in this period? Like, was Giant Baba like at the curtain when he came out and went, lost again? I'll remember. That's what it feels like. It literally feels like that, like there were rivals, but there's no documentation of it because I guarantee they never were. And it was just inside their own heads.
Well, it's like I guarantee Inoki is just like angrier and angrier. The Giant Baba is getting more things than him, and Baba doesn't even occur to him. He's just like, oh, this is cool. I'm winning.
Yeah, exactly. That's very much what it is. He's like, oh, are you not also a winner of this competition where there's only one winner? And he's like, no, I'm not. Jai.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when we were doing stand up, everyone that won a bunch of comedy competitions was just like, oh, cool, I won. And then everyone who lost those comedy competitions wanted to kill the guy who won, even though the other guy was just like,
dude,
oh,
you
thanks,
don't even
man.
know. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about in Toronto. You should see what it's like in Los Angeles because the spread from like in open mic to then just being a club comedian is such a cavernous gaping maw
Yeah.
that you'll like I've been at open mics working on material or just whatever and you'll hear people like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, I got 2 spots and then I snuck into the improv and they didn't make me pay. And then people are like, holy shit, it's so fun. I love like stand-up comedy post-COVID, exactly what I wanted because we're back to just the scrubs and the psychos. Now, Dylan, let me ask you a question.
So Inoki, I'm trying to look something up here. Which I'm looking up is my favorite thing, which is Antonio Inoki had to work in Portland in
Yes, he did.
1964, and he was what was his name?
China bad.
Almost Little Tokyo.
I got to tell you, I'm very impressed they went with a Japanese city. That is
That's
utterly,
very funny.
that is why like I am surprised they're not
Hong Kong Rick. Your
Yeah.
name's not going to be anything but Rick, because that's a good fucking name, you little
Yeah.
shit.
Rick is the most foreign name we have here in Oregon, you little fucker. Now listen
Sorry, it was
up.
Paul Bosch. It was Houston. Continue.
Oh, okay. Well, it's very cosmo. That would make
Oh
sense.
no, he did move to. He was in Portland. I
Yeah.
guarantee in Texas he was billed as Little Tokyo and Kanji Inoki, and I guarantee Paul Bosch billed him as Kanji Inoki, and just everyone else was like, you're small. Actually, I'm taller than you. You're small. And your
You're
name's
small.
Tokyo.
Yeah. I'm
You're
almost
small.
as tall as Andre the Giant, but not as tall. That means you're small.
How about this? Chin pussy.
Yeah. How about this? How about your name is not as good as an American?
Can't work hard guy. How about
Yeah.
that?
Is the stereotype of you people you're napping all the time because you're going to be called the napper? You're going to.
Yeah. Here's it comes. All right, here's your character. You drive down to the ring in a car. You got to kill everyone in the fucking building with the car you can't drive. That's your character. You lose every
Oh
match
my
by count
God.
out. You can't get to the ring. All right, I'm going back to bed. Standing up.
That stereotype, ladies and gentlemen, still lives on in the stand-up comedy of 2 comedians in
Really?
Canada. I am yes. There's that one of them is still. I
That guy
get
retired.
Not that guy, the other guy.
He
The
hung
guy
up
who
his
bought.
mic.
Wait, did he?
Mm-hmm. Just so you know, you can create your own. I'm not even gonna say the joke. I'll just say the premise, and everyone listening can fill in the joke.
Go ahead.
His joke was, what if my Google Maps voice was Asian?
Oh my God.
Fill it in. I guarantee that that's so many racist people's jokes. Anyway,
I
enough
just want to
about
point out Psalm one
hurting a
time did
group
the
of people.
eyes. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. He did
Yeah,
the
yeah.
eyes. Okay.
He
Well,
did-
that makes it good.
Yeah, he did the eyes, and that was it. I was like, "This is downtown Toronto. That is okay. Wow." Not this
Everyone
one.
in the audience took their shirt off and started flexing because they were
Oh my
like,
God.
"Let's go,
This is.
let's fucking go, buddy."
Let's go. Okay.
He won the
Antonio
NWA Texas title. He defeated Joe
in
Blanchard, Inoki did, and then he lost it to Pepper Gomez in the only match that had a Gomez, like it had a Spanish person against a Japanese person that was allowed for the next 30 years, I assume.
Yeah, that the arena was later burned down that night by the fire department. The fire department showed
We gotta make sure that no one ever knows this happened.
yeah, we burning the arena down. Who did we get to do it? The fire department.
There was an
Um,
invaluable time. Inoki learns English. He makes many international connections, which included Sonny Myers, Morris Siegel, and Paul Bosch. 1965, he was traveling around Oregon with a young Pat Patterson. The pair became very close, I assume, because they were always in danger, because Oregon is a lot like Canada, way more racist than you think.
exactly. It's one of those things where, and it's actually that's the most dangerous place because rural Canada is like I guarantee Pat Patterson had someone walk up and been like, uh, "Is your name
Pat Patterson was very prepared for it. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. Like Pat Patterson was just a fist. And so, your name Bruce? You know what I mean? And I guarantee Antonio Inoki was like, his name is not Bruce. Who is Bruce? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like Antonio Inoki literally just went into all dangerous situations where he could lose with such a stupid, ignorant confidence. People were like, I guess he wins this one. You know what I mean? Like, he's that guy. I'm trying to think of.
Well, I will say this. Antonio Inoki's got such a, and this is very 2022 of me to say, but such an internet Chad meme chin that no one would be racist to him at first, even in the 60s, because they just. First, you see a chin in the distance, and then you're like, that is just a massive chin with traps, and then you see he's Asian. There's
I
no way.
guarantee
Guarantee something.
that part of it is that his body was so fucking tight for the 60s that they would be like that he basically was so fit people weren't racist against him. That's how fit he was. Isn't that crazy?
I love calling him little. Like, he's not little at all.
I love it. Because yeah, he's like what? Over 6 foot. Like he's a big fucking guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
like
like,
he's
yeah, he's 6'1", 6'2".
yeah, he's one of those things. He's like next to Terry Funk. It seems like it makes sense.
Yeah,
He's
he's not
also
like short because he's not like
he's also one of those old guys
he's
that kept
built. He was built
working
at
out.
6'3", so he's probably 6 feet tall.
And here's the thing: if you keep working out as an old guy, it's so weird not to see a slumped over, sad old man. That, like, if you just see a broad chested man in his 80s, you're like, this guy must be huge. Because in my mind, Antonio Inoki's like the size of the Undertaker, not Mark Calloway,
He was
the
one,
Undertaker.
and we'll get into this, but like he's one of the guys who basically was one of the forerunners of mixed martial arts, who like wanted to do MMA from like the 70s onwards, like wanted to promote it. Obviously, he thought he would win. He would not have.
Oh
He
yeah,
thought he would win.
he also like he pioneered paying wrestlers in Bitcoin in the 80s. I
Yeah, yeah. One of the other pioneers of MMA was just everyone who used slave labor.
okay.
It's just all of
Yeah.
them.
Jefferson Davis.
Portuguese invented MMA when they started
Yeah.
selling people.
Jefferson Davis was a big proponent of the MMA.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that's it's I they still this is why I almost respect the UFC. They're still trying to sell NFTs where it's like that's fucking sick. Like you're still just being like, yeah, this was revealed as a scam months ago. Fuck you.
Let me tell you the two spaces
Buy this JPEG of a knockout.
that are still selling NFTs. It's even better. The UFC, and the deep psychedelic, as in terms of wellness community, are deep about the NFTs. I was doing a little research about microdosing magic mushrooms for a little Christmas treat. So my YouTube algorithm is taking a real peek for the weird. Let me tell you, those guys are deep. The amount of NFT JPEGs you can get of a mushroom that's purple, holy fucking shit.
I'm trying to look up NFTs right now and see Crypto Dick Butts XS3. How much do you think that is?
I mean, I don't care how much it is. I'm buying it right now.
It features all three, and it's
Dicks
10.
and butts?
The lowest is 10 Ethereum, which is about $100,000 for a fucking stupid ass picture. Fuck, I love the world.
I gotta tell you, so do I. Because you know what's even better? There's someone who's trying to think if he has enough confidence to negotiate that. I can pay 90.
Well, this is the thing. It's like these people who are investing in this really heavily are basically investing in the fact that they think that the virtual world will just take over the physical world soon. and I don't know if that's going to happen.
I
Who
don't think it
knows?
is.
Maybe with global warming, we'll all be
Dylan,
like in a specifically monitored cell, and we'll have to live. And these NFT people will be our kings. Continue,
look,
John.
I actually can relate NFT and crypto back to Antonio Inoki. Here it
Sure.
is. Antonio Inoki, by being sent to America to be seasoned, actually gave him a distinct advantage in the split that's about to come up here between him and Baba and the destruction of the JWA into New Japan and All Japan. Is that Baba had some connections, but Antonio was always the NWA guy. And he also had in that there was way more alliances and allegiances between Inoki and um, New Japan, but that actually doesn't make any sense because All Japan was All Japan the NWA? No. Oh, I'm so stupid. No, because what's even weirder about this then is that Inoki has all the connections with the NWA, but wasn't Baba was the NWA guy and Inoki was the WWE guy. That's so weird, actually. I was about to make a point of like, oh, it was smart of Baba to make or of Inoki to make all these connections, but he didn't. It somehow Baba still
Well,
ended
they
up.
all had the same connection. It's like anything. They're kind of living harmoniously, and Inoki for sure is just getting angrier and angrier, but
Oh,
behind
just
the
a,
scenes. And then finally, he's like, "Fuck it," splits apart, and it's a lot like the thing is, Inoki just went into a place where there was no infrastructure and wrestling tradition. The only wrestling tradition was Ricky Dozan, and once Ricky Dozan dies, it leaves this giant crater. Inoki and Baba were teaming up. They become the top acts, and of course they split up. And Inoki could have just Antonio Inoki, if wrestling got into Japan earlier, would have just ended up as Vern Gagne. But there was this big gap, and there was these two great companies, and they came out. And I think Baba being such a great booker was because, like I mentioned earlier, he had no he knew he was a star, whereas Inoki is like trying to prove he's a star constantly.
Do you think that Vince McMahon and Antonio Inoki had an alpha off? Like they refused to sit down in front of each other to the point that they both got shin splints?
He probably was so fucking pissed that Inoki had that sweet Chad jaw.
Oh my god,
I
he kept
guarantee he went to the funeral of Inoki and just tried to grab the chin.
yeah,
It's like,
he
put this on my face. He's not in the ground yet. Whatever.
I hope that there is a lawsuit about the Vince McMahon getting away with rape situation, and I hope that it reveals all the various emails Vince McMahon sent in the latter days of his life, and I guarantee one of them was to Antonio Inoki's family. I will give you $100,000 for his jawbone. I will saw it off at the gravesite. You don't need to be a part of it.
Oh
I
yeah.
just want that fucking jaw. If I have that jaw, I can get my company back.
So, all right, here we go. John, are you ready?
I am.
I'm gonna read some stuff, and then you're just gonna sit there, okay? Because this
Okay,
is important.
I'm ready.
Inoki won the NWA International Tag Title with Giant Baba beating Bill Watts and Tarzan Tyler. Actually, we can sub in here. Apparently, this October 31st, 1967 match ushered in one of the golden eras in Japanese wrestling. John, what do you think Bill Watts' promo was like when he
Very
was in
good. I
All
actually
Japan?
have seen it, and
Oh,
here,
okay.
yeah. Okay, the first 4 minutes of it, he is fully vomiting in his own cowboy hat. This is just ugh. He then drinks his own vomit and throws it up again onto the commentator. He then takes the microphone from the commentator, who is at this point covered in vomit, and
Hmm.
just goes, "I don't like anyone here, and we were right to do what we did." And then he just walked to the ring, took off all of his clothes, and stood there fully naked, shitting.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened. Actually, though, John, is what he
What?
did was he just did a character that was a waiter, an Asian waiter, and then Mickey Rooney saw that, and that's how Breakfast with Tiffany's happened.
Yeah, exactly. Do you understand that you could get so much heat as a Japanese wrestler by just showing that scene from this is my favorite movie?
I don't think it's funny.
Yeah, I think this is accurate.
This is fine to me.
Why isn't someone doing that? Do you want to know what? Where is Jay White?
Racist guy.
Get me Switchblade Jay White.
Oh
Just,
yeah, Jay White's from New Zealand. He could just start talking about Aboriginal people, biggest heel in the fucking world.
I actually got to tell you, New Zealand is the only country where it's actually they were okay. Only because the Maoris
Oh
surfed.
really?
surfed over. The Maoris like canoed over to Australia and saw what was going
Hmm.
on, and were like, "We better get ready. They're gonna figure out we're over here." Like,
That's pretty funny.
let me be clear. What happened to them wasn't good, but it's in that like the sliding scale of like
It's
indigenous
not
people.
Canada.
Yeah, indigenous people meets colonizers, and usually it's like, where are all those indigenous people? They were never here.
1967 to 1971 was considered one of the all-time peaks in the Japanese wrestling business, with almost nightly sellouts and network primetime telecasts every Friday and Monday night, usually with Baba and Inoki working on a tag team, beating the biggest names from North America like Kiniski and Johnny Valentine, Fritz and Waldo Von Erich, The Crusher, Dick the Bruiser, The Funks, Wilbur Snyder and Danny Hodge, The Funk Brothers.
What did they smell like? I guarantee athletes in this day, so many more
Can
complex
you
smells.
imagine
Whiskey, cigarettes,
Can you imagine
cologne.
wrestling the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser after they've been just off a plane?
Oh my
Oh god.
god. Oh, they
Smell like their own shit. Like, we didn't have any booze on the plane, so we just started shitting and eating it. Ha! I'm the Crusher.
Yes, I'm so constipated. I'm gonna fucking get in the ring.
I've got something they will term erectile dysfunction later on, but now it's just called a wobbly cock. My blood doesn't move through my body; it stands still because it's not a
Yeah.
pussy.
Antonio, 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 give me a beer. We're in the middle of the match. Yeah, cool.
Now we gotta stop. I'm gonna take a shit. What?
Yeah.
No! Dig a hole in the ring or whatever.
Is this the
fuckhead.
forest? Am I in the forest?
I'm confused again. Oh fuck. Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
His name is. Yeah, the Crusher. The Crusher is just the Crusher. You know those guys that drink too much and then think everywhere is a bathroom?
Oh yeah.
That's what the Crusher is when he's sober. I gotta piss. This is a bathroom, right? This is Antonio Inoki's bottom. I lost that riff.
Carl Gotch moves to Japan
yes.
and becomes the main trainer in the JWA in 1968. This is very important because this is when Gotch was noted as his second trainer after Ricky Dozan. Gotch taught Inoki his German suplex and the octopus hold. And this Carl Gotch really, as a catch wrestler, gets Inoki into, why don't you fight people for real? That's how you'll stick out apart from Giant Baba. And Inoki was like, all right. 69, they headline shows in Thailand before 24,000 fans. They're selling out every single where they go, and it's hard to understand from a North American wrestling mind because this is tag team wrestling
It
dominating
is
every show.
so weird. Like it's so. I know it is, and it's so bizarre. The idea of like I can't wait for these my favorite team to win. Like I'm still of the mind that if your pay per view is headlined by a tag team, we're setting up that tag team to break up so I can watch the next pay per view. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like fully
Would you say
loaded
that? Go for it.
1997 is an abomination. Go ahead, Dylan.
As I read this, it feels like Inoki and Baba are the Japanese wrestling like Beatles, where it's like there's definitely a John and a Paul. And
Yes,
like Inoki is definitely John and Baba is definitely Paul. Or Paul is
that's
just like, I just want to make things people like. And Inoki's like, I don't know, whatever fucking John Lennon did. Maybe it's
yeah.
maybe it's the opposite way. Who knows?
No, I don't think. No, you're absolutely correct. And that, like, Paul McCartney, Giant Baba was a dick, but he was like a dick like Paul McCartney. Or Paul McCartney was like, "Well, you know, I'm just a nice man from Liverpool, and if you don't fucking pay my publishing, I'll fucking kill you." And then,
I'll sue you till you're fucking dead, and I don't care if you're a real baby.
yeah, and John Lennon's just got like a bunch of beards, and he's smoking heroin. And he's just like, "Let me tell you this about women. I think I should be allowed to shit in their cunts." And you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay, yeah."
Hey, I'm all for free love. Free for me to run a woman over with my car if they fucking cross me. What?
Yeah.
Anyway, forget that last part. Peace.
I don't. My name is John Lennon. I only hate my mom. All women look like my mom.
I hate moms, which is every woman.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Just here's the problem with anyone who becomes good at anything. Do not look at why. I love Antonio Inoki. He really created Japanese wrestling. Don't look why. It's because I'm trying to get strong enough that I can beat up and then have sex with my dad. And you're like, no, Antonio, no.
I'm my own dad now because I fucked my dad.
Yeah. He thought my chin wasn't impressive. And now I'm going to sell my chin to Vince McMahon.
So here's where it gets fun. Inoki, unhappy about being a subordinate to Baba, so he creates his own singles title, which,
Yes.
like AEW, everyone criticized this is just what happens in wrestling where someone gets mad, so they just make up a belt. That's
I
why.
gotta tell you, that's so true. And much like in the AEW Fallout from All Out,
Mm.
clearly CM Punk realized he had a career-ending injury, and he was like, "I'm not going out that way. Time to blow some shit up." That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
pretty much. Like so.
That's what
Anyway,
I'm
he
saying.
he Inoki creates the United National Championship title. He wins the United National Heavyweight, and now that's 1/3 of the All Japan Triple Crown, defeating John Tolos in Los Angeles. He was stripped of the title when he was fired from the Japanese Wrestling Association. To give credibility, the belt was actually set up in late 1970. It was pushed for about 5 months until Inoki won it, which is a lot more planning because usually in the 60s it's like, hey, this title's
Yeah,
years old. How many years?
more than one promoter at this period
Bajillion.
of time were famous for having a bunch of desk
Yeah,
drawers filled with belts and be like,
yeah.
"We need a United Champions. Here you go."
Well, that's pretty sick though.
Oh, like let's not get let's be totally honest. Wrestling back then sounds so much easier to be involved in. You're the
Oh,
champion
you
now.
just didn't need, dude. Entertainment as a whole was better when it was like, I mean, it was way worse because people were worse at being entertainers, but like way better to just be like, yeah, I do this now. It's funny because you'd think that it would be way easier to be a grifter back then, but actually, it's way easier to be a grifter now somehow. There's
Yeah,
just
it
no
is.
information about anybody.
Well, here's the problem: is it's right now. It's like everyone back then was like a shitty grifter. They were getting you for like $50.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's like way more grifters, and they're also all getting you for like, oh, they just stole our democracy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so much shittier. You're like,
Yeah.
ah, can you give that back? We like,
Wait a minute, this didn't help me lose weight. Oh my god, now I can't leave my designated zone.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I was just trying to listen to a podcast featuring Roger Waters, and now I believe that Russia is my god. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 1971, JWA was putting in separate shows across two networks, using Inoki as a headliner on one and Baba on the other. He wins the JWA annual World Tag Lead with Seiji Sakaguchi defeating Killer Kowalski and Buddy Austin. And this is something that's happening is Inoki is winning a lot of tag leagues without Baba. They've basically split up and
I
that it becomes a feud.
love the idea that they had to do two different television shows
Mm-hmm.
for
The original
uh
SmackDown and Raw.
yeah, they basically had to do a brand split for two
Mm-hmm.
guys. Oh, that's really good.
Inoki had already picked up a reputation for coming up with reasons to no-show matches that he was scheduled to lose and avoided doing jobs to drop titles with a frequency unmatched in pro wrestling until Shawn Michaels. What exactly was the real story? Or if it was a combination of stories, Inoki was filled with illusions of being made that it was for crimes against a promotion. Believed to have been the fallout of the coup and the company sending a strong message, but at the same time protecting Baba, its top star. This left Inoki with a massive wedding bill, leaving him heavily in debt. Oh, okay, sorry. No, I skipped something here. So a few days later, there was a third Inoki versus Dory Funk world title match at the Osaka Prefectural Gym, and that was the same site as their legendary match 2 years earlier. Word reached the dressing room that Inoki wasn't going to be there. He no-showed a world title match because he was going to job. So
Whoa.
Inoki and Shinma held a press conference to announce a formation of New Japan Pro Wrestling in the wake of that no-show.
Can I just say this?
You can say anything.
How did Dory Funk react? Was it senior or junior?
It would have been Dory Jr. was the champion this
All right,
time.
then Dory said nothing, called Terry, and Terry, in reaction, murdered a horse that he felt had a chin.
This was despite the JWA conducting a campaign to isolate Inoki in the wrestling world, including contacting American promoters to ask them not to work with him.
Can I say something about wrestling that really annoys the shit out of me? Jim
Sure.
Cornette right now is I assume talking to his dog about how there used to be fucking rules in wrestling. No one no shows anymore. No one doubles crosses or anything. At this period in time in wrestling, like it was happening all of the time. He literally no showed a world title to set up a rival company. And in the most antitrust move ever, they're like, we better call our suppliers and make sure they don't supply to this guy who we now hate. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, God, bro.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing where it's like, what, do you think it was more fun to like wrestling back then because people like actually thought they could beat people up rather than now where everyone's just like,
I'm going to say this
I
is,
think it's cool that people are LARPing. I think it's good. I think it's fine.
yeah.
But you know,
I think that the lore
which
of
is
back then is better because it's so much stupider and they were keeping it all secret and it was so weird. Right now is a better product. Like the in-ring product is more enjoyable. Ethically speaking, I feel much better because I'm like, well, you know, at least people are being paid. They're not just like, what am I was paid in Dory Funk attacked me. You know what I mean? Like there's that
yeah.
aspect of it, but no, there's nothing better than the lore of 60s wrestling because it's insane. You got fucking like, you know, Judo Gene LaBelle is like 8 years old in Los Angeles. I assume waiting at LAX in case Antonio Inoki comes and he's just going to stab him. That's for screwing Ricky, they'd
Well,
say.
that's the whole thing is that New Japan, which obviously Baba's promotion becomes New Japan.
No, Baba's promotion becomes All Japan. Inoki's
Oh, sorry,
promotion
ours All
becomes
Japan.
New Japan.
Apologies. All Japan opens. They join the NWA. Dory Funk Sr. is an agent, and that gave him access to a ton of America's top talent. Inoki, New Japan, is working with fringe outfits like Mike LaBelle in California, the NWF, and just some people in Montreal. The biggest stars when he started out were Pat Patterson, Tiger Jeet Singh, and Johnny Powers. So like
Wow.
Inoki really did build New Japan from fucking
He
nothing.
really did. I have to tell you, because I
It was
always
just
assumed.
him against some guys.
Am I crazy in that I always thought the JWA split was like they got half the roster? Like I literally thought that's like, well, you get
yeah.
the Funks and we get Abdullah. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how they did it. I didn't realize it was like Baba gets everything, Antonio gets his chin, and Pat Patterson's phone number.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Noah and All Japan split
Oh
in
my god, it is a
2000
lot.
where it's like there's like 2 people left in All Japan.
Shit, that is exactly what it's like.
But it's like it's the part that makes sense. Like obviously Inoki can't take the whole JWA roster. He just takes like he just no shows and then makes his own thing. It's super ballsy what he did, and it paid off, and that's why he's the king. And obviously it makes sense if the way you start your promotion is, hey, I'm the fucking only thing I have, so I win every match. And then it's just you build this infrastructure of people that are just as talented as you, but you never truly believe that they're as good as you because I built this whole fucking thing. It's like if Vince McMahon formed the WWF, but it was just Vince McMahon on top.
It's like if Vince McMahon got involved with Control Your Narrative.
That would be sick.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
R.I.P. controlling your narrative. I think we mentioned this, but wrestling's never been the same.
It's not. I don't even know if they did one show.
Control Your Narrative did a bunch of shows. They just had people who were like canceled by wrestling Twitter fighting each other. It was great.
Oh, that's great stuff.
And Killer Cross. Killer Cross was just there. It was very funny. Everyone else had like some weird thing they did, and Killer Cross was like, hi. My wife and I do it OnlyFans, but it's just bikinis. Anyway, I'm going to fight this Nazi, but fake.
Oh my god, I'm 9 years older than Killer Cross. That's weird.
Killer Cross is in his 20s?
No, 9 days, pardon me, 9 days older.
9 days, he's fucking, fuck, we look like shit.
I disagree.
That's a hot guy.
I think we're doing great. Killer Cross has got the bod. He doesn't got our punum, though. Too many veins.
Yeah. I like that. You put me next to Killer Cross. Honestly, 50-50 who people are picking.
Correct.
Who looks more
Do you want to
handsome.
know? Oh, they would. It would be a tough conversation. I'd be like, well, listen, he has the bod, but you know what Dylan has? He's got the cock.
He's got the gumption.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan's
How much time does he have on dating?
Yeah.
None. Put him on.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot.
Let me ask you this. Sure, Killer Cross has cum gutters, but does he have a bit about going to Christian camp?
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not. Let me tell you who does, though.
He's useless. Yeah, me.
This man right here.
Yeah, fucking bitch pussy. Killer Cross right now. I challenge you to stand-up comedy. I challenge you. I challenge you to a bikini contest. What's your talent? Pro wrestling? No one's going to care about that. I need to get someone else here to fake fight. Who gives a fuck?
So Antonio Inoki is fake fighting his way through the Pacific Rim job.
Nice. John, what's the best part about Inoki during this period?
He did it. I have to tell you about learning about young Antonio
He did
Inoki.
it.
It made him say seem like a much nicer man and much more like a human being when you realize that he actually built New Japan, which is the HPV of the wrestling industry. It might go away for a bit, but it will come surging back when you least expect it and will be aided by some of the weirdest elements. But and it's truly amazing and inspiring that he was able to do this. It's also very interesting to see the proliferation of tag team wrestling as a main event aspect of this, our sport. But I will say the best thing about Antonio Inoki is he bet on himself and created I'm going to say it, the third most influential wrestling company the world has ever seen.
Really, which was the first two?
Number one is Control Your Narrative, of course.
Number
Number
two is
ECW, the WWE years.
okay.
The
Those
actual
are
those are
yeah.
the two. I'm going to say the two. What would be the two most important wrestling companies ever?
Oh, WWE and of course mine.
Yes, of course. Yeah, DGW.
WWE and Control Your Narrative.
Yeah, I'm going to say WWE. The answer, I think, I'm going to say this. You want to know what the actual legitimate answer is? Most influential wrestling company of all time,
Whatever, whatever.
ECW.
No, Tootsmont. Whatever Tootsmont was. Tootsmont was the first guy to be like, maybe
Shit, you're
this
right.
guy doesn't have to
That's right.
be
It
an
is.
actual wrestler. He can
So it's
just be a
WWE.
guy.
WWE
Yeah.
because WWE is connected to Tootsmont, and Tootsmont was literally like, what if we fake it? And they were like, can we do that? And he's like, man, it's the fucking 20s. Women have
Tootsmont watched
pants.
like, but it was like Tootsmont just watched his third hour of a out of three falls match, and was like, "Can they just run at each other? Can something fun fucking happen?" Like that's what happened.
But I
No
feel
one
like,
cares if it's fake. He was the Deucemont 100% was like the Kenny Omega Young Bucks of his time, where people were so mad. Think about the first time.
oh my God,
Think
I've
about the
never thought of it.
1920s Jim Cornette seeing Irish. I think it was like I forgot the guy's. I think the guy's name was Billy, but his finishing move was the Irish Whip, and he was a football star. And
Yeah, it
think
was
about that guy watching that wrestler and just
Billy.
his mind.
It was Billy Whipper something, like Billy Whipper
No, that's
Watson.
Whipper Billy Watson was in the 60s in Japan. He's American. You're a Canadian
Oh,
guy.
I
But
always thought he was the same guy because of the Irish Whip being the finisher, and I was like, well, he's the
no, the
whip.
Irish Whip was the finisher in the No, it was the 20s or something. He just threw the guy against the ropes, and the guy fucking exploded.
Oh my God, wrestling back then sounds awesome. Also, you'd lose your mind. Imagine you've just come from a farm, you've never seen running
hmm
water, you're in a giant building surrounded by more people you've ever seen, and an Irishman wearing nothing but underwear just using his arm threw a man into ropes. Oh, of course, you'd be like, well, that man's dead.
Yeah, he just threw him into the ropes, and he just couldn't take the fucking ropes.
Can you imagine the first day someone was like, what if we take a chair that we have at ringside and one of you hits the other guy with that chair? Like, I guarantee people, they were like, holy shit, I got to do that to someone in my family. Like, people must have,
Daniel, Michael, Dan O'Mahony was the guy,
oh yeah, oh,
and
that O'Mahony.
oh, Dan O'Mahony, and unsurprisingly, he died at 38. He died at 30 fucking 8.
Was it a horrific 1920s death? Like, he's like, he drank one glass of gin and it turned out it ate him from the inside out.
He was a man who did well in the hammer throw, and then they put him into wrestling, and then that was that.
Yeah, two squirts from the old opium injector and see it in hell,
Exactly.
Damo.
Everyone says, "Ooh, '90s wrestlers died early." Think about the fucking '20s; those guys died so fast.
Yeah, they invented wrestling and then were immediately killed to keep a secret. Dylan, what is
Oh,
your
you got to eat dirt so it toughens up your cock.
yeah,
What?
the,
Yeah.
the important thing to remember, Damo, is it's always good to drink mercury before a match.
The best thing, I think, probably the most important thing is that he meets with Karl Gotch, because the secret sauce in New Japan is that he stays. His relationship with Karl Gotch stays, and he has Gotch in the New Japan dojo. And
Can you elaborate on that? What is the significance of Carl Dutch being in the New Japan dojo and why it's so important?
the impetus for New Japan was basically, I'm Antonio Inoki. I can really fucking brawl, dog. And Baba's a baseball player. He's like an American style pro wrestler. So New Japan's whole thing was, I don't need any of these talents from the JWA, because I'm going to make my own different type of professional wrestling that's going to make Giant Babas look fucking shitty. And that was the entire impetus. for New Japan Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then obviously he invents Strong Style, and Strong Style becomes adapted by All Japan. And what a lot of people think is the greatest era in professional wrestling history, 90s All Japan.
And that everyone knows that is incorrect. The greatest history in wrestling was in the 90s. And you know what it was?
What was it?
90s Memphis.
Oh, yeah, where it was just Kamala losing to Jerry Lawler every week. Good.
Oh, my God. Who knew? They can't have him lose again. And he did.
That is the crazy. I remember getting some old PWI where it was like all these title changes, and it was literally Jerry Lawler, some guy, Jerry Lawler, some guy, Jerry Lawler, some guy, and Jerry Lawler was like a 90-time champion in Memphis. It was awesome.
My mom claims that some of my old PWIs are in her basement, and I got to tell you, I will be in Toronto this month, Dylan. Let's have a little rifle through, huh? If they are there, you know what I mean? You can come down. We can sit on a carpet.
I found one that was it's like Paul Heyman answering something in a WCW magazine, and he just refers to one of the readers as immigrant. So things are gonna be good. Follow us on Tick Fuck or Ass Book. That's another old comedian thing. They would be like, follow me on Pornhub.
The same comedian who retired once called it face ass. You can find
That's good. Face ass. No thought. I like it when someone puts no thought into something. Face. I don't know. Ass. That's good.
I've been speaking to Dylan Gott for at least 1 hour a week for almost 9 years, and let me tell you what will tickle his funny bone, no problem. And that is a man in his 40s doing stand-up comedy, just riffing. Dylan Gott's on board for that. Face ass is a classic example of that.
They forgot how to riff. They don't care anymore. It's good.
The other best is describing how comedian Donnie Coy spelled clock to comedian Nolan.
Yeah.
It's cock with an L.
You didn't even tell you where to put the L.
It's
cock with an L. That's good.
I'm gonna have
it is
that father, the father who was sat next to me, laughed about that for 60 human minutes as I and my ex-wife drove from London, Ontario to Toronto. The best part was around 48 minutes in, all I heard is, where do you put the L, though?
Cock with an L. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll have more Patreon stuff soon, I think. Who knows? I'm Dylan Gott. That's John Hastings.
My name is
Enjoy.
I was about to make a comment about his birth name, but I feel like that'd be inappropriate. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in hell.